Shocking new reports that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are living separate lives as the mean girl Meghan exposed once more during her Sunday appearance on MasterChef in Australia. So Rob Shooter is reporting that as Meghan and Harry start to separate, the Duke hasn't been this relaxed in years. And perhaps it's because the Meghan who we saw on MasterChef is just such a drag. When the only Duchess posted, Meghan Markle and MasterChef looks so bored and like she hates being there and hates everyone, besides which she's a terrible, inauthentic actress. Al, according to Taz, replied, mean girl energy. And Tash is here, and we are going to review this Meghan Markle MasterChef monstrosity together.
I feel like I need to hype myself up here.
Oh, I know, you are, Tash. This is the first look at what Australians get to watch in full Sunday night Australian time. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. Oh, Tash, it's just her love language. She's not doing this for the money. Don't even suggest it, Tash. She's not doing this for the money. She's doing this because it is her love language, okay? What did you think?
Yeah, but it's really excited. It's my love language. Oh, God, it's so vomit-inducing. I've never known anybody to be so fake. You know, Paris Hilton, when she was, Paris Hilton, the fake Paris Hilton, then we learned many, many years later she's not actually dumb. She is just nails down a chalkboard for me because there's nothing about her that's real. Every time you see her do a speech, every time you see an appearance from her, she's a completely different personality. And this is a woman that, turned around and said, actually, I'm too busy to cook, but I do really know how to make a takeaway look pretty. Let me guess, what? Sprinkle some flower petals on it. Even that, it's like, oh, look, flower petals. Everybody think of me. I sell flower petals, don't you? It's just going to be really, really bad. And I know I'm going to have to watch it and I don't feel good about it already. But yeah, she's just so unbelievably fake. As I said, I've said this before, if she was chocolate, she'd eat herself. But yeah. Oh, I don't know, Dan. Are you going to watch it? Because
I mean, do you know what? People might be shocked by this. I know it's huge in Australia, but I've never watched an episode of MasterChef in my life. It's just not my thing. And I know a lot of people love it. As I say, I know it's the #1 show in Australia. Not my thing. Never has been my thing. But Tash, I'm always of the belief we watch these shows so that
got to do it.
Others don't have to. And we can have some fun with it. So yeah.
Bottle of wine.
I'll put myself through. Yeah, I might have a couple of margaritas for me. I think I need something stronger. Yeah, exactly, to get through it. But Tash, look, there are these growing reports now about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle living separate lives. We saw the Daily Mail report earlier in the week about, and we'll come to this because I know there's been some pushback actually on this reporting, specifically in terms of the Prince William side of things. But it was this idea that the veil has lifted in terms of how Harry views Meghan. Now Rob Shooter of Shooter Scoop following up, suggesting that Harry actually hasn't been as relaxed because they are living separate lives. And what he is reporting, Tash, is not that there's any type of formal separation or anything, but that they are spending more and more time apart, with those closest to the couple increasingly questioning the future of their marriage. But again, that could just be because people see the fact that they are, at the moment, doing a lot apart. An insider telling him they're living very separate lives now. It's gone beyond work schedules. They have different priorities, different routines, and they're spending much less time together than people realise. Harry has been making more solo appearances in recent months, while Meghan has remained focused on her business ventures and media projects. The shift has fueled fresh speculation that the couple may be growing apart behind the scenes. When Harry is on his own, he seems like a different person, says another source. He's more relaxed, more spontaneous, and much more like the prince people remember. Friends have noticed the change. Even so, no announcement has been made, and the couple continues to present a united front publicly. Nobody knows what will happen next, another insider says, but people around them aren't talking about whether they're spending time apart anymore. They're wondering whether this marriage can survive it. For now, the Sussexes remain together publicly, but behind palace and Hollywood doors, the whispers are growing louder that they may be entering a very different solo chapter. Tash, what do you make of the new reporting?
Tactical game plan. Okay, so this
and then they're going to explode back together, are they?
I honestly think that they are trying to rehabilitate Harry at the moment. He is the only one out of the two of them that can build up their royal relevancy again. He is the only one that can increase their royal market value. They know that the public do not like Meghan. They know that as a couple. So they know that Meghan needs to take a back seat if Harry is to successfully gaslight everyone, that he's back to being the old Harry, because we are seeing people reporting, oh, look how relaxed he is. Look how funny he is. I mean, I don't see that on the James Corden appearance, on the Joe Marler appearance. I saw someone that is not relaxed. I saw someone that was trying desperately to look relaxed, to look like he was having fun. But Harry, to me, just looks stressed. He looks angry. He looks tired. And the jokes that he was doing, they were falling flat because he was just being more sarcastic. You know, James Corden, where he's like, oh, why are you calling it soccer? Well, because it's an American show, Harry. But it's, to me, I think that they are working together and they're trying to get Harry to become more popular again. And they know that Meghan's got to take a back seat. And then the moment that Harry has got, you know, maybe built it up a little bit, Meghan will be back. Meghan has no intentions of letting Harry rebuild his relationship with the family. She hasn't had apologies or the groveling that they've demanded for years. But the moment that they lose Netflix, the moment that all of the deals are dried up and the A-listers don't want to know them, the Kardashian gate, everybody has shut the door on them. Now they want to get back in with the public as working royals, as semi-working royals, as pseudo-working royals. It's a game plan. I am telling you that they will suddenly appear out of nowhere. We'll have some really disgusting snogging photographs of them, and it will be like, oh, they were having problems, but they realized how much they loved each other because Meghan gave him flower sprinkles and it's her love language. I'm sorry, it's tried and tested. I've seen this so many times. Whilst I think that Harry is trapped in an unhappy marriage, I don't think he's got the balls to leave her. And as for people talking about, you know, there's rumors going out that Harry is perhaps he's found someone a bit on the side. If Meghan caught wind of that, she would be straight away assassinating him publicly. You know, this is, I think it's a game plan between them. As I said, I do think Harry's miserable. I think he's always been miserable since he's been with her. You know, he's made a lot of decisions to keep her happy. And guess what? Meghan Markle is never going to be happy. But I think people are getting duped into, oh, look, it's the fun Harry. It's not the fun Harry. It's Harry, the miserable, petulant, arrogant ass with the fun Harry face mask on. Don't fall for it.
Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now.
Commentators and online critics are calling her MasterChef Australia cameo an absolute monstrosity, after the Duchess claimed cooking is her ultimate love language, all while critics slam her for putting on what they're calling a total mean girl act on set. From bizarre headlines about her requesting on-set staff not use the word royalty, to claims about her kids eating Brussels sprouts, all the way to fresh insider reports that Prince Harry is living a completely separate life from her in Montecito, the fallout from the single TV appearance is explosive. Meghan Markle made a high-profile guest appearance on MasterChef Australia, walking into the kitchen as a guest judge. During her tour of the pantry alongside judges Po Ling Yao, Sophia Levin, and Jean-Christophe Novelli, Meghan spotted a spread of edible flowers and macadamia nuts before making a statement that immediately went viral for all the wrong reasons. Over on Dan Wootton Outspoken, royal commentator, according to Taz, shredded the appearance piece by piece. Taz didn't hold back, calling the entire clip vomit-inducing, and comparing Meghan's public persona to a rehearsed theatrical performance. The core issue critics took wasn't just the line itself, but the stark contrast between the warm, nurturing persona Meghan projects on camera versus the reports trickling out behind the scenes. Viewers called out the irony of lecturing high-pressure chefs to cook from the heart while appearing visibly rehearsed. To make matters worse, reports surfaced that Meghan's team strictly instructed producers and judges prior to shooting not to refer to her using the word royalty, leading to awkward on-set moments with host Po Ling Yao. Commentators pointed out the contradiction. If you are stepping away from royal titles to be a relatable lifestyle icon, why are there strict protocol demands behind the scenes? Critics like Taz labeled the vibe pure, mean girl energy, smiling for the lens while maintaining icy control off-camera.
No, I'm totally with you on that, Tash. Then some pushback about what was the most shocking line, I think, even though it was buried right down the article in this big Alison Boshoff expose about Harry and Meghan's bid to reverse Megxit. And it was specifically this idea that actually there is communication between Prince Harry and Prince William. But Hello magazine, and come on, Hello is not, particularly bullish on any of this stuff, now running a denial, with Sabir alone reporting Hello pushing back on Alison bullcrap. She really needs to stop talking to that couple. And then the quote from this Hello exclusive is, Hello understands that this report is not true and that Harry and William are not on speaking terms, which explains why we didn't see the brothers reunite. You wrote after that, Tash, surely these writers see how ridiculous it makes them look. Even if their bosses are pushing them to write this bollocks, I'd personally quit because it undermines not just their career, but also their credibility as a journalist. And for me, Tash, where I think there's like a fine line here is that it is interesting to hear what Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are saying and what they want out there. But journalists' responsibility are to make it clear that actually those assertions are not backed up. Do you see what I mean? So what Alison Boshoff really needed to do within that piece is say, but actually sources close to Prince William and Catherine insist that there is no contact. Do you see what I mean? But I still find it quite interesting that we do hear, because Alison Boshoff has basically made clear she's Harry and Meghan's gal, right? She says she doesn't speak to the palace at all, because that's what Rebecca English does. So, look, I do totally hear what you're saying. I mean, I don't think there's any credibility if she states it as a fact, but I think this was quite a fanciful claim. I had said earlier in the week, Tash, why these journalists have to be careful, in my view, is that they're actually doing Harry and Meghan's dirty work if they're not careful. Because do you remember earlier in the year, Charlotte Griffiths reported, Harry's definitely going to get RAVIC security. It's decided. Do you remember that? She just said it's decided. Now, Charlotte has since admitted, and I'm not trashing her for this at all because she's been very honest about it, she has since admitted that briefing came directly from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's team. So what journalists have to realise, Tash, is just because Harry and Meghan are saying something, and come on, I mean, we've been on them over this for like 8 years, just because Harry and Meghan are saying something doesn't make it true. You can report that this is what they're saying, but you also have to report the truth.
Yeah. You need to be able to put something at the end of the article to turn around and say, whilst this is sources and friends close to Harry and Meghan have said this, because then we are hearing the crap that they're putting out into the world, but to turn around and say, but we have also heard from people close to Prince William that have said this is not true. Totally. Yeah, I mean, they still need to obviously put out into the world what Harry and Meghan want put out in the world, and I actually live for it, because when it gets pulled apart, that's the funny bit, when it gets proven it's completely wrong and it's not true. But yeah, I mean, they're constantly playing games, which I do find completely laughable. This is a couple that have waged war against the royal family and tried to convince the public it's been members of the royal family that are planting stories in the press. And as it turns out, it's not. Harry and Meghan have got their own WhatsApp group, we found out. We found out that they were the ones that set up not just Charlotte Griffiths, but they were also setting up the Mail and the King's Secretary to say that they outed that private meeting, when they were having the meetup to talk about the future. And it's clearly obvious that Harry and Meghan, they accuse everybody of everything that they themselves are actually doing. So it is good to obviously still see people put their side out there, but at the same time, don't report it like it's, it's the gospel, because that is then just pushing their propaganda. And it makes you as completely pointless in existence as Omid Scobie, who seems to have been kicked out of Meghan's little black book of useful people.
Yes, indeed. Exactly. And the problem is, once your credibility as a journalist has gone, it's forever gone.
It's gone.
For example,
you can't get that back.
No.
Oprah.
Exactly. Exactly. And Oprah's going to do all she can to get it back. But unfortunately, you're tested in that moment as a journalist, and you failed, Oprah, and we knew what you were doing. Now, Tash, there's also been some interesting footage that has emerged of Harry at the Time 100 gala behind the scenes. So Prince William's jaw wrote, H was in New York City to attend the Time 100 most influential people in sports event on July the 16th. Look at the security he had. It looked like only 2 cars, but there were a bunch of people there. I don't know if this is his hotel or where it was filmed exactly. Tash, you then said it's for his ego, not his safety.
As the MasterChef drama unfolded, the commentary quickly expanded from TV cameos to the state of the Sussex brand as a whole. Recent months have seen a noticeable shift in how Harry and Meghan operate. Where they once insisted on appearing as a joint unit, 2 palm trees linked at the roots, industry insiders and royal experts are pointing out that they are now leading increasingly separate professional lives. During their discussion, Taz and Dan Wootton offered a tactical breakdown of what might actually be happening here. Taz argued that this shift isn't necessarily a sign of an immediate marital split, but rather a calculated PR pivot. Think about it. The joint Harry and Meghan brand has faced intense public pushback over the last few years. By decoupling the brands, Prince Harry is being dispatched on solo international trips, focus grouping a return to his old, likable, unscripted prince image. Meanwhile, Meghan stays in California, trying to establish herself in the lifestyle and cooking space.
Yeah, with this, you know, we have seen Harry with this. We've seen them with the motorcades and stuff. And I don't think Harry believes he's really in danger. I don't. I think it's because he wants to make it look like that he's important and he needs all of this. It's about ego, whereby, you know, they want to be treated so people look at them, you know, like they're the president and the first lady. Like when Meghan, she went to the theater in New York, she had like a 3-4 car motorcade to go to the theater. They want the security there because they want people to stop and look, because unless there is a big red sign above their heads, nobody notices them. And even when people do notice them, nobody cares. Loads of people knew that Meghan Markle was speaking in Geneva because she made sure that she told everybody. No one cared enough. Not even people that perhaps hate watch her. Nobody cared. Their relevancy, as I said, is completely down the pan. And that's the only way that I think it makes them feel like that they're still really important. And for them, surrounding themselves by big security guards. I mean, it was the same as when Harry went into, was it Chatham House when he came over to the UK? His security guards looked like cartoon security guards. They looked like it was the Men in Black, you know, these big burly guards. And at the end of the day, private security, they're not meant to be seen. To protect you, you're not meant to know that they're there. That's the whole thing about it. They're meant to camouflage. People aren't meant to know. They're just meant to know that you do have someone there. And for Harry to have all of this, it's just a big beacon. Please pay attention to me. Please remember that I am important.
But Tesh, there is no low to which this couple will not sink. And
oh no,
we saw an example of that this week in terms of their team now starting to invoke the assassination of Anne Widdecombe. Now, for people outside of the UK who may not know this story, Anne was actually a friend of mine, a former colleague, someone who had appeared on Outspoken, a very, very famous British right-wing politician and celebrity who was assassinated within her own home. We learned this week she was actually hit over the head 21 times with a hammer. And Royally Sage pointed out, allegedly Harry wants to use the death of Anne Widdecombe to appeal his appeal of the security issue. Apparently the lack of any actual crowds outside the press went right over his head, his empty, balding ginger head. Their words. Harry has no case, but he thinks he can harass a new crop of politicians. And Tash, you responded to this saying his best security option is not telling people his every bloody move. Stop telling people when and where and who he's bringing. Just shut up and go about your day and release photos after. And I mean, number one, Tash, I totally agree. That's what I've been saying for a long time.
Yeah.
But can I just specifically make the point on Anne Widdecombe? And I feel this pretty strongly given that she was a friend. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Tash, attempted to, I would say, defame Anne, actually, as a racist in the Harry and Meghan Netflix series. She was one of the examples they used from her time within Celebrity Big Brother to try and suggest that the UK wasn't somehow an unwelcoming racist hellhole. And actually, and this is really worth pointing out, Tash, Anna came on my GB News show after that because I wanted to give her the opportunity, given she had been trashed internationally, you know, as some type of anti-Meghan person. And we showed the full clip from Celebrity Big Brother, Tash, and it was nothing of the sort. She had worked out, like a lot of you clever clogs did very early on, that Meghan Markle was trouble, but it was absolutely nothing to do with her race. It was to do with a whole load of other issues. So I just find it so ironic that here is someone assassinated who they derided, Tash, as a terrible human being in their Netflix show. Her assassination, which is currently before the courts, which makes it very difficult to talk about, but a lot of people, including myself, including Nigel Farage, believe that her assassination is politically motivated. And now we have to deal with Prince Harry trying to use Anne's assassination to beef up his own security. To me, this was a new low from him. Do you understand what I mean?
He just every time you think he can't go lower, of course he does. I mean, Anne Widdecombe, what's happened to her is very similar to Charlie Kirk. There is so much terrible things that happen in the world, and it's not right wing you should be scared of these days. It's very much, I would say, left wing.
Terrorism. Nigel Farage.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I totally agree with him on that. And then you have people like Harry and Meghan who are part of the problem. To get their own way, to silence people, to intimidate people into not saying anything negative about them, they throw allegations at people. And throwing allegations of racism at people is something that can invoke a lot of anger, a lot of hatred, because racism is a terrible thing and it affects lots of people every single day. But what happened to Harry and Meghan wasn't that. But they know that if they accuse people of being racist, it shuts people down and it causes backlash. And we are really beginning to see where people like Harry and Meghan, who almost incite hatred towards anybody that criticizes them, they are part of the problem. And it's, again, with them suddenly trying to use Anne Widdecombe's death to try and help himself, like he did with Salman Rushdie, didn't he, as well? You know, there's no one that Harry isn't going to use. But like you said, this is a woman that they have tried to accuse as being a terrible person. And the whole thing with Anne is still absolutely devastating. It made me cry to learn how she spent her final moments on this earth. No one deserves to go through that. But then also no one deserves to have allegations thrown at them that are not true either.
100%.
And she was a good woman. She was a good woman.
It's a dual-track strategy. If Harry can rehabilitate his personal standing with the public by acting solo and relaxed, it protects his remaining royal value. But as critics point out, every time Meghan steps into the spotlight with a staged TV appearance like MasterChef, it threatens to pull both of them right back into the center of a PR storm. The conversation didn't stop at television cameos and brand strategies. Wootton and Taz also turned their sights toward Harry's recent public appearances, specifically taking issue with his massive private security convoys during solo trips to New York. Critics argue that rolling through city streets with an elaborate fleet of SUV escorts isn't about safety, it's about optics and status. It's a visual cue to remind the world of royal standing, even while claiming to crave a quiet, private life in Montecito. And to wrap up the commentary, the duo took a swipe at the recent media accolades surrounding Meghan's lifestyle series, with Love, Meghan, which picked up a Daytime Emmy nomination. While supporters celebrated the nomination as a major Hollywood win, commentators branded the nod baffling, given the show's mixed viewing numbers. Taz even took to social media to publicly root for rival nominee The Wizard of Paws, a show centered on creating prosthetics for injured animals, stating that real-world impact deserves the award over manufactured celebrity cooking shows. At the end of the day, whether you view this MasterChef appearance as harmless lifestyle promotion or proof of an ongoing PR struggle, one thing is undeniably clear. Every move the Sussexes make is under an intense microscope. When your entire brand is built on authenticity and cooking from the heart, the moment the audience senses a script or an act, the backlash is immediate. Was Meghan's guest spot a clever way to boost her lifestyle brand, or did it expose a growing disconnect with TV audiences? I want to hear from you. Was the MasterChef cameo as bad as commentators are saying, or are people making a mountain out of a molehill? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to stay updated, and click the bell icon so you never miss an upload.